and editing video clips on your NLE's timeline may be second nature to you, but when you move into the world of digital audio, there's a whole new lineup of tools and terms that you should know. In this episode of AudioBuzz, we'll familiarize you with the ins and outs of what a typical audio application will have. It's hard to believe, but it really wasn't too long ago when audio production was done with stacks and stacks of analog equipment. If you wanted certain effects, you ran your audio through a box. And if you wanted to equalize a signal, it ran through that, and so on and so forth. These methods, although effective, were very time-consuming and, not to mention, took up a lot of space. Well, technology has come to the rescue of any would-be audio tech or seasoned pro, taking all of this and putting it into something as small as this. And fortunately, if you know some of the tools of the analog world, they do the same thing in the digital world. So let's start with the heart of any audio application, the mixer. In a mixer, you can combine various audio signals from different sources. It also gives you control over all of your tracks. In a sense, it's the main control center for your application. Included on your mixer are also some other tools you should be familiar with, like the pan feature. Pan lets you move a single channel sound source within the stereo field from left to right to create the illusion of placement or movement. The mute button turns the output of the channel off so that it passes no signal. So if you wanted to isolate other channels or just hear how your mix would sound without that channel, hit the mute button. Next to that is the solo, which turns all other channel outputs off so that we hear only the soloed channel. If I want to work on a specific channel without hearing the other tracks, I would hit this, perform the necessary tasks on that channel, and I can then turn them all back on by hitting that solo button again. The fader is the most identifiable feature of the mixer because it looks like what you would see on a typical analog mixer. What it does is control the amount of output from the channel into the master output. If I crank it up, the volume increases, to the point where I can even make it peak in the red. This isn't good. I like to keep the individual signal range around -6 decibels, so that when I mix a bunch of tracks together, I don't overdrive the master output and get distortion. Most mixers will also give you access to various inputs. The input takes the signal coming into the mixer circuit, and the input gain adjusts the amount of signal seen by the mixer. One of the most commonly used tools in audio production is the equalizer. The equalizer lets you shape the frequency envelope of the sound, because the frequencies in a sound wave can be broken up into various ranges, and the EQ gives you control of each individual range. One very common type of equalizer is the graphic equalizer, which consists of a bank of sliders for boosting and cutting different bands or frequency ranges of sound. Normally, these bands are tight enough to give at least 3 to 6 decibels of effect for the neighboring bands and cover a range from around 20 Hz to 20 kHz, or the range of human hearing. Let's take a quick look at some other accessories that you'll want to access frequently as you edit your waveforms. The cut or blade tool is a handy item that gets its name from the actual physical way we used to have to cut and splice audio tape, with a razor blade. This tool allows you to split an audio clip into parts so that they can be shifted around in time or processed separately. The envelope feature allows you to automate the gain or pan of a particular audio clip by placing keyframes on a rubber band and setting their levels. Now, this little magnifying glass icon is your zoom in or out tool. This allows you to pull out to see the whole picture, which might be useful to look for peaks and other problem areas. And also, you can move in very close down to the sample level to fix those problems that we find. Now, just as you would zoom into a wave, it's also nice to zoom in or out of your track layout. That's what this little guy here does. And you can see the whole setup at a glance or move in real close, which leads us to the multi-track interface. Now, this is a fancy way to talk about multiple tracks. The multi-track editor lets you edit many different tracks at once, allowing you to slide phrases or position musical tracks around in different places, which changes the timing of the events. Granted, there are dozens of other little features and gadgets that you'll come across, and we'll try to cover those throughout the season. But this overview will give you enough to get started and get you on your way to producing some great sounds. Thanks for watching AudioBuzz. We'll see you next time.